She called the cops and screamed, "He's stealing our lake!" Standing right on the dock I built with my own hands, she had no idea the property line marker was sitting just behind her feet, on my land. I didn't say a word. I just folded my arms and let her dig her own hole. She kept yelling, "This lake belongs to the HOA. You can't fence it off." Funny thing, the HOA had built 22 luxury cabins around my lake without ever checking who actually owned the water rights. They thought it was public property, or worse, that they owned it. For years I watched them host parties, barbecues, and fancy HOA events all around my water. I stayed quiet, waiting to see just how far they'd go. Then one morning I woke up to find a brand new HOA members only sign nailed right onto my dock post. That was it. I called my lawyer. A week later, the county confirmed everything. The lake and the land surrounding it legally belonged to me. Every single inch. So I decided to build something they'd never expect, a private resort. I named it Lakeside Haven. The gates went up, the HOA signs came down, and locks clicked shut. Only registered guests allowed. No HOA access the day construction finished. Karen, the HOA president, marched down the path with 2 board members trailing behind her like backup dancers. "You can't do this," she barked. "Those cabins belong to our community." I smiled, pulled out the deed, and said calmly, "Then your community built them on my land. Which means they belong to me now." She went pale. For the first time, she had nothing to say. As she turned to leave, I added, "Next time you want to build something, make sure you know who owns the ground beneath your feet." That line hit her harder than the locked gate behind her. That night, I sat on my porch watching the moon's reflection ripple across the calm water. Peaceful, until I spotted flashlights near the cabins. 3 figures. One of them walked stiffly, unmistakable. Karen, they were whispering angrily. I heard her hiss, "If we take down his signs and reopen the gates before he wakes up, the county won't know whose property it really is." I almost laughed. She still didn't get it. I pulled out my phone and started recording. The next morning, she came back, this time with 2 men in dark uniforms and suspicious-looking badges. "These are HOA enforcement officers," she announced proudly. "We're repossessing this property." I raised an eyebrow. "Show has enforcement officers now?" One of the men puffed his chest. "Step aside, sir." I didn't move. Instead, I pointed down the driveway. A black SUV rolled up, and out stepped a man in a real uniform. Deputy Cole, the county sheriff himself. "Morning, folks," he said, tipping his hat. "Got a report of trespassing." Karen went red. "No, he's the trespasser. This lake belongs to the HOA." Cole pulled out his tablet and scrolled. "Actually, according to county records, this entire property belongs to..." He looked at me. "Mr. Walker here." Silence. Karen's voice trembled. There must be some mistake. Cole cut her off. "Ma'am, impersonating law officers is a crime. Those 2 men with you better have real credentials." The fake officers exchanged panicked looks. One tried to step back, but before he could move, Cole's deputy blocked him. Karen's tone cracked. "You can't do this. We just wanted to talk." "Talk?" I said quietly. "You came at night, tore down my signs, and tried to steal my property again." She froze. I turned toward the lake and said loud enough for everyone to hear, "Next time, Karen, maybe read the law before you try to enforce it." Her face went cold as the deputies led the fake officers away. But I knew it wasn't over. Karen never quits easy. Deep down I could feel it. She was planning something bigger. 3 quiet days passed. Too quiet. The resort's first weekend was fully booked. Families kayaking, fishing, laughing by the bonfire. But in the back of my mind, I knew Karen was plotting her next move. She was the kind of woman who'd burn her own house down just to make sure you lost your mailbox. Early Monday morning, I heard engines. Loud ones. I stepped outside and saw 5 trucks lined up at the entrance. Dump trucks, cement mixers, and one with a fresh HOA Development Division logo. Karen stood in front wearing a hard hat and sunglasses like she owned the place. "Morning, Mr. Walker," she said coldly. "We're building a new road to our cabins." "County approved," I chuckled. "That's funny because this road starts on my driveway." She crossed her arms. "You can't block community access," I sighed. "Karen, you don't have a community here anymore. You built your paradise on my land." She didn't care. She waved her hand and the trucks started moving. Gravel pouring, engines roaring, tearing through my entrance like they owned it. Guests came running out, filming everything. My phone buzzed. It was my lawyer, Mark. You still have that security footage? He asked. Every second, I said. Good. Send it to the county inspector. She's already on her way. Karen just filed a complaint saying you're blocking HOA access. She's digging her own hole. Within an hour, the county inspector arrived with 2 sheriff's deputies. The moment she saw the trucks, her jaw dropped. Who authorized this? Karen rushed forward. I did, HOA president. The inspector cut her off sharply. You don't have jurisdiction here. You're trespassing on private property again. The workers froze. Karen's fake confidence cracked. The inspector turned to me. Mr. Walker, do you want to press charges? I looked around. Guests filming, Karen trembling, the lake shining behind her. I smiled. Not yet. Let's give her one more chance to dig deeper. Karen muttered something under her breath and stormed toward the cabins. I knew that look. She wasn't done. She was about to cross a line she couldn't come back from. That night I saw her car parked near the cabins again. Inside she was on her laptop, whispering on her phone. I walked closer, recording everything. Through the window I heard her say, "Transfer all booking payments to my account before he shuts us down." That was it. She wasn't just trespassing, she was stealing. The next morning I met with the sheriff and showed him the video. Within hours, deputies surrounded the cabins. Guests watched as Karen was led away in cuffs, yelling, "You can't arrest me. I built this place." The sheriff looked her straight in the eye and said, "No, ma'am. You built on someone else's land." A week later, I reopened the resort officially. New sign. New name, Freedom Lake Resort. Families came. Kids played, and for the first time in months, peace filled the air. As I watched the sunset reflect over the quiet water, I smiled and whispered, I didn't fight to keep this land. I fought to keep my freedom. And somewhere far away I could still hear Karen's voice, now just another story told around the fire at Freedom Lake. The end.